Mikel, back to winning ways in the Premier League. What did you enjoy about that out there?
Well, very good after the international break, and the players been away for a long time. It's always a question mark how they're going to react, are we going to glide and connect together again, and I think the team certainly did that to win the Premier League 3-0. Another clean sheet, very important as well. Some players, some of them that it was the first time starting as well, having big performances, so overall very good.
Should we talk about Martin Zubimendi then? Because that was quite an incredible opener, but then the technique in the header in the second half as well.
Unbelievable. Two very difficult goals in terms of execution, but I think he's coming the team, he's coming at the club, and you feel a real presence, a real authority in everything that he does on that pitch as well. And if you can on top of that contribute in the scoreline with goals, what else can we ask?
In terms of your attacking threats today, first time, as you said, we'd seen those three start. One scored, one assist, and one got a standing ovation coming off. Could you ask for more?
I think they were very good, the three of them, with their own qualities, but complementing each other really well. Noni, I think, was outstanding again. He looks a real threat. Victor, very intelligent. He could have scored 2 or 3. Again, today, Nep's giving you something else, a different kind of flow, different connections, and very unpredictable as well.
Are you going to have a tough time going forward when Bukayo comes back? I mean, Martinelli's still there in the mix. It's a tough choice. Or did you really like what you saw with that front three?
This is what we want. When you look around the other clubs and the other teams and the squad that they've built, we all have the same. If we want to be competing at the highest level, you need that. Because look, we lost already Kai for 3 or 4 months. We lost Bukayo now 4 weeks as well. And we need those replacements. If not in the Premier League, it's so tough.
Maybe the only cloud this afternoon, Martin Odegaard coming off?
Yeah, to come off I think it's the same shoulder that he had last time. He wasn't comfortable to continue. So, that's a shame because he played with the national team. He was feeling good, and suddenly something happened again.
Do you expect him to be available Tuesday? Champions League back on the horizon?
He certainly is going to be doing everything from now on to be ready for Tuesday. I guarantee you that, but I don't know.
All right, we'll wait and see. Well, well done today. Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mikel Arteta delighted with his front three. We've spoken of his performance.
Yeah, it did. I mean, he's incredibly strong. You know, he's a powerful runner in behind, and I think again it was so important for him to get the goal. Obviously, all the with the new signings combined, great ball from Eze. Forward defending was poor from Nottingham Forest. You've got to look at that from. And we'll look at that after the game, but it was poor defending, but great for him to get a goal.
He's had a bit of criticism since coming in, even though it's such early days, Martin, and that he did well against Leeds, but didn't have enough of an impact perhaps in the other games. Do you think he's the sort of guy, though, who absolutely thrives on that criticism?
I mean, that particular goal is one where Arsenal play a really long pass and a first-time cross into the box, and then he's the predator. Quite often at the start of this season, teams been sitting at the edge of the box, and it's been hard to find him, but he's the player that you go and look to. And this one, I mean, look at it. Honestly, it's like that he fires that out of a cannon. Yeah, he smashes that. So we know the power and the strength is there, and it's nice to see it all come through. He's had 2 games, international games, so he's had quite a workload, and he goes again in midweek.
I think it's difficult for strikers these days quite often as well, because when you're playing with as good of players as Madueke and Eze are, quite often they want to come inside and link up the play. No one gets to the byline really anymore, or whips crosses in from deep. I do worry for him slightly in that. I mean, he didn't have a lot of chances again today, but then
I like to see that you're still in the strikers.
A little bit, I feel like you can create more chances for him, I would say. Get him in the game a little bit more. I think so. He is a little bit on the periphery.
But do you think he has all the attributes to be that focal point that they've needed for so long?
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, listen, in Portugal he scored an incredible amount of goals, but I think the team was really geared up for him. I'm not sure this team is as geared up. I still think he's
coming deep quite a lot, isn't he?
He's coming deep. You can tell he's frustrated, and also he's working incredibly hard off the ball. Like, his closing down's good. He just needs to get a little bit more integrated into the team, I think.
Yeah, the manager talked about connections. We wondered if Eze might play more of a 10. He played on the left-hand side. The captain went off, and you didn't have Saka, and you didn't have Havertz, and there's no Jesus, and you wouldn't even know now that they're not big misses. And suddenly the manager now has got so many more options that he can have available to him, and then they're performing on the pitch. So there's 2 players for every position. I'm looking at Christian Norgard, and he's not even in the actual squad. And if you can leave a player of that quality out of the match day squad, then you're in business.
I think the front three will get the plaudits as well. They've scored goals and they've been fantastically well. But Mosquera as well just come in, replaced Saliba, and I thought they were fantastic at 2 centre half.
Crucial is that having someone like him though, because one of the issues that it's felt like there's been with Arsenal is when you lose one of those 2 centre backs, there's been such a drop off when one of them is out injured. But is he someone that can step up and sort of stop there being that dropping quality?
I felt so. Listen, we'll ask Martin what he thinks of the centre halves, but I thought he was fantastic today. I think his range of passing is good. He does take a little bit too long on the ball at times, but he's got amazing confidence for a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
I think he's more in the mould in the DNA of the 2 centre halves that play in front of him. So Kiwior maybe wasn't as mobile, wasn't as quick, was as powerful. This fella's got it there all under the bonnet. And what surprised me was how calm he was in possession, because he didn't have an option. Maybe move it slightly quicker, but he never gave the ball away. He was a calmness personified. There was a couple of headers in the box. He read things really well. He's mobile. Those 2 central defenders are under a little bit of pressure as well now. You don't want him missing too many games. And Saliba, I'm told, trained yesterday and should be available for midweek. So it's good news at the back as well.
Yeah, Mikel Arteta said in the press conference it was good news. It wasn't as bad as they first thought with Saliba. Well, it was a tough start, a bad start for Ange Postecoglou in the Forest dugout today. So let's get his post-match thoughts with Becky.
Done. What are your thoughts after that?
Obviously disappointing outcome for us. Look, they're a good side, and here at home are a tough proposition anyway. Can't fault the lads' effort. I thought they tried really hard. We were really able to get grips of the game. I think the second goal straight after half-time just sort of allowed them to get away from us. So disappointing outcome, but like I said, can't fault the effort of the lads.
How much of an evolution do you hope or expect from your side now in the next couple of weeks, now that you can get into some training sessions even?
Yeah, look, that's exactly right. Sort of, this week's, fair to say, was fairly disruptive for the players. International week as well, so they didn't get until Thursday, Friday. So, they're seeing a new manager. I'm trying to implement new things, and it's only understandable that they probably haven't got clarity of thought at the moment. But that's my job to now sort of try and embed that over the next few weeks. I'm sure we will, because there's a willing group of players to do that.
You started today with 7 of the new signings on the bench, obviously integrated during the game. Do you hope to integrate them more in the next couple of weeks? May you have a bit of a new-look team potentially?
Yeah, there's opportunities. We've certainly got enough games. We've got Carabao Cup on Wednesday, then we've got sort of Europe kicking off, so there'll be plenty of games they'll all play. I was encouraged by the performances of the lads who came on today. That's why they were signed. But again, they've only had a small time to integrate into the team, so I'm sure with some training and some opportunities to play, we'll be able to see how they can contribute.
Has today given you an idea of where you want to start, or did you already know that before today's game?
Yeah, no, you have a fair idea, but I mean, as I said, it hasn't been an ideal prep for the players, and you've got to take that into account. And all you can ask for is, effort and endeavour, and they gave that. And we faced a very good opponent today, which unfortunately was a bridge too far.
For these guys, they have lost back-to-back Premier League games before your time and now this game. What is your message to them at this moment in time?
Look, they're disappointed. I don't have to point that out. Like you said, they're a group of players who showed last year just how hard they fight for each other, and there's disappointment today, but there's only one way to rectify that. We've got a game Wednesday night, and we've got to make sure we make amends, and like I said, it gives me a chance to start working with the players now.
And one final question, a bigger job than what you thought it was going to be, or exactly as you knew it would be?
They're all big jobs. I haven't taken over an easy one yet, so at the same time, that's why I'm here. I love the challenge, and we'll get to where we want to.
Murillo, just quickly, he came off injured.
Yeah, it looks like just a knock, so hopefully, with a bit of rest, he should be okay, so nothing significant.
Lovely. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, they'll be hoping that's not a bad injury to Murillo. He's such a talismanic player for them. Ange Postecoglou, though, saying it's obviously been a tough day for the players, but it's been a disruptive week for them as well, Martin. How much does that have to be taken into consideration?
Well, we were talking about it before the game, and it was a point I was raising, that the disruption, obviously, with Nuno was a really good manager for lots of the players. I remember Arsene Wenger coming coming in and a sit-down meeting with him and said, what are you doing here? I was doing quite well with the last manager. How stupid was I, by the way, what he was to do for the football club. So it is disruptive, it's unsettling, and they've not had a very good start, but the players away on international duty. We'll start to judge them as we travel on. They've got Swansea coming up, they've got games now against Burnley and Sunderland that they can win. They're very much winnable. So no, I think they would have learned a lot today about the characters, and he'll build on this, and I expect him to start turning it around.
It's 3 away games in a row as well, so he's not going to be able to tap into that famous atmosphere at the City ground just yet. But as Martin said, those games against Burnley and Sunderland really stand out. He's got to hit the ground running in those. Yeah,
really important games. Obviously, they need to get some wins on the board. I think you can't read too much into today. As I said before, I think Arsenal are going to dismantle a good few teams this season, certainly at home. But those games are the games where we can kind of see, we might be able to see some of the patterns, some of Ange's stamp on the team, and of course, yes, to win them.
He also said that the players didn't have clarity yet as well. So if he has to get his ideas across, how long does that take?
It's so difficult now. I mean, look at the run of games there. I mean, they would have been jetting off all over the place on the international break. He'd probably worked with them, maybe 2 sessions, straight into a game. Then they've got another game midweek. They're flying away in Europe. So it's so difficult. I mean, it's just so much better for a manager if he gets a pre-season under his belt.
That's an awkward situation for him because he could almost done with a free week. So he could actually, okay, guys, day one, they're going to set this out. What we're doing in possession, what's our mid-block, where are we positioned on the pitch, our back line. We didn't really see much of that today. They were quite deep. Arsenal forced them back. I did think they pressed, though, early on quite high, and they're more aggressive with that, you could say. So I think we're going to see more of that, but you've got to give him a chance. You've got to give him time to build, and I'm sure he'll implement his ideas along the way.